Hey there, Dubs Dynasty! If you're as hungry for Warriors drama as I am, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to Warriors News Fan Report so you never miss a single twist in this electrifying saga. Tonight, we're wading into uncharted waters, rumors so earth-shattering they could rewrite the story of this franchise forever. Word on the street is that the organization is on the brink of making a decision that has fans everywhere gasping. Could the Golden State Warriors actually part ways with their most celebrated icon? That's right. A shakeup of seismic proportions is brewing, one that could see the face of our dynasty forced out of the Bay. It all started when a fresh report surfaced, detailing whispers from deep inside the league office. Sources at practices and front office gatherings have overheard hushed conversations about a potential organizational cleanse, a complete reboot that would involve letting go of the veteran leader who has carried this team through 3 championships. Imagine for a moment the uniforms on the shelf without that familiar number, the opening tip-off without the cheers for his signature step-back. The very idea seems almost sacrilegious for a franchise built on splashy threes and revolutionary playmaking. Yet insiders insist the coaching staff and ownership have reached a crossroads, continue to lean on past glories, or pivot aggressively toward a new era. Questions swirl about timing. Could this come before training camp opens next season, giving a clean slate to the new coaching regime? Or might it be a mid-season bombshell, jolting the roster and sending shockwaves through the locker room just as the playoff race heats up? The element of surprise here is potent. Keep everyone guessing and maintain full control of the narrative. But for fans who have followed every step of this legend's journey, from rookie wonder to MVP-level superstar, the notion of a sudden farewell is almost too painful to consider. Let's unpack the layers. On one hand, this player's resume is unparalleled. Multiple scoring titles, countless highlight reel moments, and a legacy that transformed not just the Warriors, but the entire NBA. His gravity on the court alters defensive schemes league-wide, his range from deep has expanded the three-point revolution, and his leadership helped mold a culture of unselfishness and resilience. To most, he is the embodiment of Golden State excellence. Yet, the very strengths that elevated him could also be cited as reasons for departure. A sky-high salary that limits roster flexibility, a playing style that demands a certain supporting cast, and an occasional reluctance to cede touches in, a lineup brimming with emerging talent. Sources close to the situation hint at tension behind closed doors. Some veterans have quietly expressed frustration with the number of offensive possessions funneled through one man, arguing that stagnation has set in during critical playoff moments. Others worry that future cap space is being squandered on a max contract that could be redistributed toward multiple complementary pieces, sharpshooters, defensive specialists, or a rising young star. Could ownership be weighing the cost of loyalty against the pragmatic reality of constructing a contender in an ultra-competitive West? But let's not paint too grim a picture just yet. The inside scoop also points to a desire for dramatic turnaround, a shock and awe maneuver meant to signal to the league that Golden State is not content with reliving past triumphs. Consider the precedent. Franchises have made hard decisions before, trading fan favorites to secure future dynasties. Could the Warriors be preparing to pull the trigger on the most high-profile departure in franchise history? And, if so, who would fill the vacuum left in his wake? Would the team pivot entirely to youth, unleash a full-throttle rebuild under a fresh coaching voice, or gamble on a splashy free agency shakeup? One factor to consider is the ripple effect on the locker room. Removing a cornerstone player disrupts. He established hierarchies and relationships. Chemistry is more than an X's and O's concept. It's built on trust, familiarity, and shared history. A mid-season exit, in particular, could leave teammates scrambling to redefine roles. Who steps into the primary playmaker spot? Which role player rises to command the offense? How will the defensive rotations adapt when that veteran rim protector and leader is suddenly absent? These aren't just tactical questions. They're human questions about morale, confidence, and collective resolve. Yet, amid the uncertainty, creative minds in the analytics department are reportedly running scenarios. One projection envisions a leaner rotation featuring young wings who can spread the floor, a newly elevated floor general orchestrating crisp passing sequences, and a deep bench fueled by 3-and-D specialists. Another suggests a pivot toward the draft, packaging veteran contracts to amass first-round picks and lottery odds. Either path carries risk, but for a franchise that has never shied away from innovation, risk may be the currency they're most willing to spend. Meanwhile, media chatter grows louder by the day. Pundits debate on live TV. Is this a reckless gamble or a bold statement of intent? Coaches on rival teams tiptoe around the subject in press conferences, choosing their words carefully so as not to tip the scales prematurely. Fan podcasts dedicate entire episodes to dissecting leaked memos and speculating on potential suitors, teams that would leap at the chance to snag a legend on a buyout or in a trade. The mere possibility that this cornerstone could wear another jersey next season has set social media ablaze with mock-up jerseys, hypothetical highlight reels, and heated polls. All the while, the man at the center of it all remains an enigma. He's been tight-lipped in interviews, offering measured praise for the organization but insisting that he's focused on helping wherever he's needed. Is that steadfast loyalty or savvy damage control designed to maintain leverage? Could this be a negotiation tactic to secure a more team-friendly contract restructuring rather than an outright departure? Only the insiders truly know, and for now they're staying mum, fueling the suspense to dizzying heights. So, Warriors Nation, here's the question that keeps me up at night. If the front office truly decides to move on, can the franchise survive without its most iconic star? And if they do survive, what will that new identity look like? Rebirth or reinvention? The answers lie buried beneath layers of strategy meetings, heartfelt conversations, and the cold calculus of salary caps. But one thing is certain, this saga is far from over, and the fallout will define this team's future in ways we can't yet fully grasp. Hit that notification bell and drop a like right now so you're locked in for every twist as this saga unfolds. Now, Warriors Nation, let's peel back the curtain on what happens next if Golden State actually parts ways with its most iconic superstar, and how the roster, the fan base, and the entire Western Conference would feel the tremors of such a seismic shift. First, picture the locker room on day one after the trade. The veteran leader who commanded respect with every shot is gone, and in his place a new floor general emerges, a rising guard whose confidence and vision have steadily improved behind the scenes. In the early practices, you'd see this youngster calling plays, directing teammates to their spots with the same poise we once attributed only to our former franchise cornerstone. Draymond Green, ever the emotional leader, steps even further, into a mentorship role, channeling his passion to rally the group around this fresh identity. Meanwhile, younger wings who barely cracked rotations last season suddenly find themselves thrust into meaningful minutes, their defensive tenacity and spot-up shooting tested under the bright lights. It's a baptism by fire, but one that might spark a collective hunger we haven't felt since the days of chasing a fourth championship. On the court, the schematic overhaul would be dramatic. Steve Kerr's offense, once predicated on isolations, and gravity generated by that superstar's step back, pivots toward a more egalitarian style. Imagine crisp ball movement reminiscent of the Warriors' 2015 incarnation. Cutters diving toward the rim, backdoor layups galore, and an emphasis on off-ball screens to free shooters beyond the arc. The analytics team, armed with data on lineup, efficiencies, devises small ball quintets featuring agile wings and a stretch big trading raw power for lightning-quick rotations. This new-look system seeks to exploit defensive mismatches by unbalancing opponents with pace rather than brute force. Yet skeptics worry. Will this version of strength in numbers resonate without the gravity of a superstar whose mere presence commanded defenses to collapse? Off the hardwood, the financial picture shifts just as dramatically. With the superstars, max salary off the books, the Warriors suddenly gain maneuverability to pursue mid-season free agents or execute sign-and-trades that were previously impossible. Local buzz hints at potential acquisitions. Veteran sharpshooters hungry for rings, defensive specialists who take charges and guard all 5 positions, and perhaps even an emerging prospect reclaimed off a buyout market. Ownership, long criticized for luxury tax extravagance, now appears intent on using every dollar saved to assemble a balanced supporting cast. Long-term, this cap relief could translate into extensions for breakout players, rewarding loyalty and hard work over marquee status. It's a philosophical pivot, valuing depth and cohesion over singular star power. Across the league, contenders adjust their blueprints. The Suns, who once drew lines in the sand against Curry and company, now reevaluate their own timeline. Do they double down on Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal's scoring prowess, or hedge their bets on a younger core? The Lakers, fresh off blockbuster. Off-seasons might revisit trade talks, wondering if opportunity knocks to retool around LeBron. And the upstart Timberwolves, emboldened by the absence of Golden State's former titan, eye the West's throne with renewed belief. Suddenly, every front office engages in feverish calculations. Do we chase the new Warriors model or pursue the high-stakes gamble of re-signing or acquiring our own superstar? The competitive landscape shifts overnight, but perhaps the most potent impact is felt among the fans. Dub Nation, known for its unwavering support, now faces a collective identity crisis. In local pubs, debates rage. Some lament the loss of a symbol who transcended basketball, whose jersey was the Bay Breeze on every holiday. Others embrace the challenge, convinced that a leaner, younger squad could reignite the foundational ethos that once made this franchise revolutionary. Social media brims with nostalgia-laden tributes juxtaposed with bold mock-ups of new uniforms and team slogans celebrating the next chapter. At Chase Center, season ticket holders wonder if the move will justify its audacity. Will this untested roster rally to a new standard of excellence, or will it falter without its guiding star? Amid all the speculation, one truth remains. Basketball is a game of evolution. Franchises reinvent themselves by making hard choices, sometimes painful, often controversial, always defining. If Warriors management truly engineers this blockbuster departure, they are signaling not defeat, but a bold reinvention. They're betting that a collective identity, built on shared responsibility and a fresh roster, can exceed the heights of any single superstar's legacy. So here's where we stand, Warriors faithful. A frontier defined not by the past, but by the promise of what could emerge from these bold gambles. Will this new era forge a dynasty as enduring as the one we've cherished? Or will it serve as a cautionary tale of risking everything on the altar of future flexibility? Only time, and every bounce of the ball, will tell. What do you think? Warriors Nation, would you embrace this rebirth with open arms or mourn the end of an era too grand to replicate? I'm torn between nostalgia for the golden past and excitement for uncharted possibilities. I can't wait to read your passionate takes in the comments below. If this deep dive got your mind racing, hit that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and keep the conversation alive. Until next time, stay golden.